What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Fins Faithful Podcast. Thanks for joining us on this 3-Wide Wednesday. Fins Faithful, the Miami Dolphins, of course, last Sunday shocked the Falcons 34-10. And for the first time all season, it finally feels like they might have found something. Nobody saw this coming, not after the mess the week before against Cleveland. But here's the question now. Did they find the formula? Because, boys, it gets real now. It's a short week, tomorrow night, Thursday night. They got a matchup versus the Baltimore Ravens, who are also struggling. But Lamar Jackson returns, and all eyes on whether this team can keep the momentum going. We're going to dive into what changed, what clicked, and what was the turning. Is this finally the turning point in the Dolphins season? Some fans want it, some don't. But buckle up, Fins Faithful, because we're going to break it all down. And, of course, I got my man working hard, Jason Sarney, co-host and co-pilot, just getting off work. We appreciate Sarney fighting through this show tonight. And my man Curtis, you know him as Ace per Head. You also know him as our Saturday show, Countdown to Game Day. But since there's no game this weekend, he's on with us on 3-Wide Wednesday.
I am. It's great to see you guys. I really enjoy spending time with you guys. You guys are
likewise.
Same here.
And the rest of you guys out there. Kosa's my man.
Kosa's.
Oh, Kosa.
Usual. Love Kosa.
Yeah, Kosa. Shout out to everybody here. And guys, always hit the like button, subscribe, send everybody over here. Video comments after the show. We'll answer them. Get live in the chat. We'll answer any questions. And please subscribe to the channel. Hit that little bell. We appreciate it. All right, fellas. We had a couple days to digest that kind of 34-10 win. I'll start with you, Curtis. And you've gone back and probably watched the film. We're going to get into some video stuff. Things we liked and some young players, especially.
I'll tell you, not as much as there was a lot of interesting stuff in this film. I really didn't get to digest it because it just moves so fast between, the game on Sunday, get all your stuff out and come on. But it was a fun film, man. Fun film.
Yeah. So what as you broke it down, what did you like or surprise you or from the game last week?
Well, look, the reality is for me, the win wasn't as much of a shock as McDaniel. We had about maybe 2 or 3 outside zone runs. The rest of the stuff was inside. There was a few, maybe a toss outside or off tackle, but it was a far departure. Maybe it was maybe 3 or 4 outside zone, but we had 37 runs and a vast majority. It's like we flipped the script from OZ to IZ. And his sticking to it, he opened up with 2 down and 10. He ran the football, got 1. Then it was 1st down and 10, and he got 1. Then he came back on 2nd and 9 and picked up 7. And then he ran it again and got the 1st. And that was a lot of intestinal fortitude. It really showed something. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going into it, but sticking with it, the hits from the offensive line, the hits from the secondary blockers, the hits from the running backs, it was exactly what I've been hoping for many. I'm not saying it's portable going forward, but this is the style that brings success. This is what the NFL's doing. This is the offensive sweet spot. We're not fighting the second war now. At least for this game, we showed up with modern weaponry, and I enjoyed it.
Jason, as you had time to digest this game, what did you like most about this game? And the question is, I think the question is, why did it happen, right? Why did it take this long? As you had a few days now, we went live on the post game. What did you kind of see that made you feel confident or not confident this is going to continue?
The balance. I loved the balance. You got 27 passes. You got 37 runs. Now, look, you had 441 overall rushing yards with the 37 attempts. So the 3.8 yards per carry was like average, but it set up what they were able to do with the pass. It created the fear, you know, and the Falcons are not a slouch defense. The Falcons are a rather good defense. And what Tua was able to do against the number 1 ranked pass defense in this NFL going into last week was basically shred him. I mean, he was fantastic. He was 20 of 26. He spread 4 touchdowns out to 4 different receivers. One of them was Ollie Gordon. You got Malik Washington, Devon Achane, Jalen Waddle. Your triplets, so to speak, of who you really want moving forward without Tyreek Hill to get those touchdowns. And the Dolphins' run defense was great as well. What I loved most was that McDaniel went heavy with those 6 offensive linemen, which was such a change. And it's almost like, all right, well, we're down Waller. We're down Julian Hill. Let's not put a speed tight end out there a lot. Let's just get another guy to go heavy. And it worked. It absolutely worked. So what I'm looking for on Thursday is to not deviate from what worked. Continue the balance. Bring in that other 6 lineman. Brunskill was fine with what they were doing. And we need to build off of these rookie performances. I mean, Curtis, I'm sure you could dissect it a bit more, but Jonah probably had his best game. Every rookie that you really want to have succeeded did very well. You're obviously not going to count Quinn Ewers. Zeke Biggers is a non-activated player, but everyone else did something really well on Sunday. And you know what? Hey, Kenneth Grant, coming together. It's starting to come together.
We got some videos. I know Jason loves to paint a picture, Mr. Jason.
And his man Trader had the big play, man.
I was going to save that for a little later, but
sorry, I blew it up. I apologize.
Trader blew him up. I'll tell you that. But nobody was more excited to see that grade. He was one of the best. I think he's the second highest graded safety of the week. This kid is on the rise, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, no,
100%.
He's on. And shout out X. For some reason, we're not live on. We're usually live on both X and YouTube, but for some reason tonight we're not. We apologize. We'll post that stream later. But come on over to YouTube with us. Hit the like button. We're breaking this all down. We got video of what we like, the new wrinkles they put in the offense, what they need to go forward. Did they find the formula? And that's the question we got to ask. And what do you guys think about how much of the Frank Smith? All right, first two are wearing the visor. I think that's it's like a placebo effect. That's a psychological thing for him. He had success, so we'll see. And Frank Smith on the sideline. Curtis, how much of a difference is that? Just okay, we just happened to have success, a coincidence, or Frank Smith?
I mean, look, maybe, but I'm call me like 17 times bitten, 17 times shy. We heard Butch Barry, we trust, and the genius McDaniel, and I'm sorry, Liam Eichenberg. I'm sorry, Austin. Look, he showed up. There's a lot of stuff that worked in conjunction. You were in a dome. You were on a fast track with fast players. You had a small D front and an offense that really was out of sorts. They better trade Cousins. I don't think they know how to use this guy. They didn't look comfortable with him. He didn't look comfortable. So all of that kind of played together. Maybe it helped a little bit, but I don't think it's the thing that pushed it over the hill. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. Anything for you on the Frank Smith on the sideline, Sarni, or Tua with the visor?
Well, you say placebo.
I like the visor, though. I like the visor.
The visor was more, it was a protection from the eye.
Going forward, it seems like he wants to use it because it worked, right? More of a mental thing.
You know what? Sports could be a very superstitious situation. And if something works, keep it going. Jalen Waddle, who is Mr. Swag, approved. So I think Tua is maybe going to keep it going, and I thought that it was just a fun little addition. Protect the eye. He obviously had a great game. And you know what? If him and his representation have any brains, they're already knocking on the door to Oakley to get an endorsement deal. I would hope that happens for Tua.
Yeah.
But the Frank Smith thing, it's almost like, the Frank Smith thing is great because, you bring a guy down who has done it before, and it's almost like he's like a compliance guy now. Like he's almost like checking on the stock trading floor to make sure everything's going kosher.
Yeah,
if you're used to the Wolf of Wall Street.
He came from the upstairs office. He's down on the floor now.
Yeah, it's like all of a sudden it's like, if you remember The Office when the new boss came and Jim is joking around. You got Charles peeking through the window, and it's making people a little bit more accountable, but also maybe more comfortable, that there could be a direct hovering of a presence that Frank Smith brought. And look, I'm not saying that he is the reason why they did so well offensively, but let's mix up all these factors of why they succeeded. Freaking do it again. Simple as that. Just, yeah, exactly. Frank Smith is like the compliance officer from Wolf of Wall Street. He's getting paid $400 an hour just to kind of be the voice of reason right now. You know what I mean? So I loved it. We'll call him the John Favreau character in Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, and too bad nobody's talking about the battle chant, Sawi. Now, I love that. He was leaving the locker room. I love
more of that.
He's a good kid. I'm glad that but you see the energy, and that was fun to watch for him specifically, because it's been a lot on him. You know, nobody more than Curtis and myself.
Just being honest, man.
Yeah. All right, so let's look. I want to take a look at some video from what I liked offensively, some of the wrinkles they did, some of the things they did, some things Tua did well, and then especially some of the young guys and on the defensive side as well. I want to start here with this play. We're going to start, first of all, we talked about the rotation in the backfield. These are some of the things I like. Let's start with the Achane and Ollie Gordon here in the backfield. All right, if you look at this play, this is kind of a new thing. You see Jason and Curtis, Gordon and Achane next to each other in the backfield. You don't see that often, right? And if you look here, keep an eye on 55, the middle linebacker. He's the one that they kind of get frozen here and lose leverage. So you'll see Gordon come out first. Tua looks that way, and 55's got to freeze, got to hold. Then you see Achane's going to come out across the line of scrimmage. Too late. 55 loses the leverage, touchdown. So again, look at this play. Achane, Gordon next to each other.
They're playing man on this one, right?
Yeah. And Gordon, and all the big thing here is this is how you use these two guys. We don't have to have them one at a time. We can use them both. And I love when they go big with the fullback, whether it's Rucci or Ingold and Gordon and I for him. I love that. But you see again, Gordon goes out first. The linebacker bites. It's too late. Achane's leverage is lost on Caden Ellis. A good linebacker. Touchdown. You guys like that, huh?
Yeah, I think the DC must have been smoking too much of the hashishio to go call man coverage like that.
There's another play that's got
crazy.
But let's go on. Let's go to another one.
They're man killers in a lot of ways.
Here's this play. Now, you look here. You talked about man coverage. Atlanta's in man, so this is either they got fortunate or this is a really good play called by Mike McDaniel. As you see, they're in man coverage. We got three receivers at the top. I believe that's NWI, Achane, and Waddle on the top. And on the bottom, looks like Cedric Wilson. But it's man coverage. So all those four guys are going to take their man away to the right side of the field. And there's only one guy. Watch, this is the back screen to Ollie Gordon. You see, all the guys are in man. They're taken away. And there's only one guy on the bottom of your screen. They're going to turn around and throw this back screen to Ollie Gordon. Only one guy that can tackle him. And watch Aaron Brewer, fellas. Watch him. Ooh. Let's play that again.
He got lit up like a Christmas tree.
So again,
man swear.
Good play. This is good on Frank Smith, on Mike McDaniel. This is a really good play call.
Perfect call.
And perfect call against man coverage. And all four receivers draw their man coverage to the other side of the field.
And they blitz five.
And only allowed one guy, and it's a key block here. Man, what a block. What a block.
You'd figure that the DC who was with the Jets would have learned something.
Yeah.
Some people are so affixed to that. I think it's crazy, man. We destroy man coverage so much. Yes. That was so nice.
I love it. And if you want to look here, what is the effects of running the ball, right? Especially on that Waddle touchdown. I think there's no better play. Keep it on the top. Xavier Watts on the top of your screen, the safety. JC knows the guy we love, Xavier Watts. The outside backer, Harrison, who's kind of a small linebacker, big safety, he'll blitz, right? There's going to be a fake toss here to Achane. Watch. You'll see Harrison comes in and blitz, and Watts is going to come up, bite on the fake toss, freeze, and you'll see right behind him, Waddle's coming, opens up, Tua with the timing, touchdown.
Gone.
You see this, Jason? I mean, Watts, just enough. Now, this is a difference. Before, these guys weren't doing that. That was just enough to bring him up. Freeze him. He bit on the toss because we were running the ball and we were rotating backs.
Legit play action.
And legit play action. Tua and better. No hesitation. Boom. Touchdown. Beautiful.
I love when they do that kind of, it's such a tiny little nuance, just the way the fake, the turn, it just
there it is.
Yeah.
You brought up Watts. Again, good play call because you threw into the blitz, right? But the guy behind him who's covering the Watts, the safety, who's been a terrific young safety.
Yep.
It's bites a yard or two, and it's all it takes. Before those guys were playing 5, 6, 7 yards back and not respecting it, but you had success and you did it. And I think two guys, Curtis, do you think Hill not being there? I think kind of teams are a little less afraid to do it. They're more inclined to do it, Jason and Curtis.
I think so.
But look, and Waddle, just beautiful. And this is where Tua is so good. He's back against the defense, play action, on time, safety.
And he had the guy in his face, too, and got him off.
And then Waddle did his thing. Tremendous play. Tremendous.
Yeah, it was.
You like, Jason, you like that, right? You were talking about you love the play action stuff. You love those little nuances.
It's not just the ball handling, it's the body handling before he gets rid of the ball. Sometimes they're just these untraditional pivots, turns. Like I said, little nuances that I don't think many other quarterbacks do better than Tua. Yeah. I think there's it's almost like a poetry to those motions, when it's all going right. I just absolutely love it. And you need a half a second or a half a step to fool a defender. And as you pointed out, that's exactly what it did for Watson. What I've been loving is seeing this play matched up to the college play where Tua hit Waddle. It was a beautiful play. Yep.
Protect him, run the football, play action. This is the kind of things he does. I mean, you see it. I mean, it's beautiful. And that only happens if you're running the ball consistently and with success. So I thought, and I want to give Tua credit because we talked about, the show, we talked about him hesitating and really not throwing to guys open. He was waiting for guys to get open versus throwing guys open, if that makes sense, right? So let's go here with Tua. This play here is no hesitation. You'll see it with, I think this one is to Waddle. He'll get it to Waddle. Waddle's engaged. Before Waddle disengages, the ball's gone. And you remember that episode, Jason? That wasn't happening before, correct?
Say again?
That wasn't happening. Wasn't happening before. No. We talked about it, Curtis. What do you see here, Curtis? Is this something different to his kind of? You said he was more confident.
Yeah, well, he's standing in there and he's taking a shot because remember, he's only about 40% of because 27 to 37. So he's got time to breathe. He's got time to digest. It's not all on him. They're nervous about something other than him. It's just like, it's like if you've ever fought anybody, you got the guys always trying to headhunt, but then you have the other guys that are more savvy and experienced. They work the body. For me, I used to fight a lot. And my best thing was, all right, I'm going to make you throw a few punches. You could do all you want in 30 seconds and you're gassed and then you're mine. Yeah. And so all these body blows gas the team and it just brings confidence. You could see everything about him was more confident because everybody was more confident. The defense was tired. The defense was beat up. And that's really what violence on an offense does. And it's where we should have headed. And hopefully we figured out where we should head. And Tua, I think, can be successful within that framework.
This is why it's so strange the way they built this team. This is, you know what I mean? You see it here. Here's another one. Just the timing. He said on the broadcast, he said it himself. He doesn't throw to receivers. He throws to spots. And he was actually at the beginning of the season, his problem, he was throwing to receivers. He was waiting for guys to get open instead of getting them open with his throws. So here's a perfect example with Waddle here. Spot. He threads it before the guys can get him turn their head around, threads the needle in between two defenders and throws it to the spot he trusts Waddle's going to be, Jason. Beautiful.
That's what you said. That's his superpower.
Yeah, that's his. And it's funny because we said that and all of a sudden he changed it. You think Tua's watching the show?
maybe not.
I got it, right? All right. So defensively in this game, let's talk about the young guys, right? The two particular guys on the defensive line will be struggling. That is Chop Robinson and Kenneth Grant. I love this play. And shout out to Rasul Douglas, who's been playing really well this year. So this play has all of it kind of combined in one. All right, so keep an eye. Let's start with Chop he's on the bottom of your screen here. Chop, there's two guys do well. Chop's going to kind of hand fight, go up and under, force pressure, force him to get rid of it early. All right, now look at Grant against Lindstrom, Curtis, veteran offensive lineman. Look at the power. Drives him all the way to the quarterback. We weren't seeing that. Let's look at it again. We weren't seeing that. So on this play, Chop and Grant, and that's against a good guard, a veteran guard, and it forces Rasul Douglas bites down, and Rasul's been playing fantastic, Jason. I've been impressed. You guys been impressed with Rasul? Your thoughts on Rasul Douglas through the season? Let's give him a little credit.
Savvy veteran. Listen, I'd give him a year flyer to stick around next year. I mean, I don't think a lot of people were thinking that he was going to be a staple player, more like a Band-Aid, but he's becoming a little bit of a dog right now, and I think he's been playing fantastic. Kudos to him, showing leadership ability, showing tough play. I'd keep him around for sure.
Curtis, you've been surprised with Rasul?
Yeah, he's good at what he does. I mean, he plays zones. You don't want him playing man. You don't want him covering mid to late clock. He's kind of like Kohu in some ways, except he's older. You know, he's a better man. He's a better zone coverer, but he's good for what we're doing here. I don't know. What is he, 29, 30 or something?
Well, I think he's in his 30s, early 30s or 30.
Yeah, I don't know if I would keep him going forward.
But he's been he's been better than Ramsey this year.
Oh yeah.
So if you look back on that, maybe the Dolphins were right about that. But this is one of my favorite ones coming up here.
Is he really playing better than Ramsey?
I think Ramsey's not playing very well. I mean, he'll have a decent play here or there. I mean, I think he busted up a run or he got him for a sack almost last game. But overall in coverage, he's not playing phenomenal. Not playing Jalen Ramsey football.
Yeah. No,
right,
Russell's been actually our best. It was crazy. He's been our best guy.
Hey.
So this is a fun play. As you can see, we talked about Curtis on the countdown to game day, and Jason, the edges not being set well against the run. It wasn't only the defensive tackle, the run fits being horrible. This, I thought everything. I wanted to show this play because I thought everything came together. You see the kind of pinch in the middle with Chubb and Edge kind of on the outside. But watch Jordan Phillips, who makes this tackle on this play. We're going to kind of go through this by sequence.
Yeah, Jordan Phillips is a good find.
Yeah. He gets kind of clipped up, kind of ballet move here. Watch. And spins around and makes the tackle. But it wasn't.
It's a wrestling move right there.
It wasn't just that.
The leverage.
Yeah, it wasn't just that. Benito Jones held his ground. Steeler took on the double team. The edges. Look at Phillips holding his edge versus that tight end's going to go on the motion and move to the right side. You'll see against edge, holding the edge versus Pitts. They weren't doing that. Tyrell Dotson coming in, eating up his butt. Just everything on this play. The run fits were great. A complete win across the end. And the Falcons love to run that outside zone kind of on the tight end play side. And we did really well on that. But Jordan Phillips, Jason, look at this, man. You like the kid, right? I mean,
hey, I love both Terps. Both the Terrapins, I was very, very, very bullish on when they drafted them. 2 fifth-rounders who are playing, who mentally are like second or third rounders. You know, obviously, you know, there could have been better talent out there, but from a leadership, from a work ethic standpoint, you know, their head coach was glowing in references about them when he was talking about, you know, when the Dolphins drafted him, Mike Lockley. So I'm thrilled with Phillips. I think he's going to be a terrific, you know, I'm not saying he's going to be an all-pro or Pro Bowler, but he's going to be a staple on the line, you know, and everyone knows what I feel about Trader, but Phillips is an absolute monster athlete who I think is going to just be solid as a rock for this defensive line moving forward.
Absolutely. And speaking of Trader, we're about to get to your guy. This one's for you, Sonny. So
let's do it.
All right, real quick though, Curtis, what did you see the difference in the run game when you went back to watch the film? We showed this good play, but like, what did you see? What was the difference in success? Was it the edges setting? What was it for you? The run fits were better. Kind of what was it for you?
Well, look, first off, they're playing on turf. It gives them better footing. If you go back, you watch some of these games, this, you know, it just adds a little bit to it. Our offense put points on their offense they came out very strange the way they were calling plays. And so our defense just really began to gain confidence because they looked at the offense. They're in comfortable settings. Their offense is sputtering. They had, what was it, 22 minutes or something like that offense or something? What was the number? It was the time of possession for the Falcons.
Oh, it was lopsided. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I've said before, and like, I mean, it's not like I said it, it's like, a paragon of understanding. Fresh defenses make plays, tired defenses give up plays. You could smell the confidence. They're sitting on the sidelines and they're like, look at these guys that we're sitting down. They're beating the hell out of them. We get out, we make a couple plays, they're off, and they're back on again, putting points and going down the field. It started out with 2, 3 and outs, but then it just like was a boa constrictor, kept wrapping around, and they just looked very, very comfortable. I think there's a lot of pressure on this defense when, hey, it's a game where we've got to be perfect. They were playing with the lead, and they showed a lot of confidence. Seal looked very good that game.
Yes.
They have a good offensive line, but it's kind of smaller. Our size seemed to take advantage of it, and Cousins looked very rusty. And their OC didn't look very comfortable with Cousins. And we smelled blood on both sides, and we drank it up.
Yeah, I couldn't agree. I thought everything just clicked on this game on both sides. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was perfect. It was like, God's fit here. Perfect.
Everything we complained about, it just clicked. But, all right, let's go. Jason, this is your boy. This is – all right, so before we start, this play kind of explained it, right? Trader Jr. here. You'll see Trader. We're in Tampa 2. We're in Tampa, cover 2 defense. The Falcons run a smash concept. What explain to the listeners what a smash concept is. It's kind of designed, it's a cover 2, trying to be cover 2 or cover 4, by kind of attacking the flat defender and creating that high-low read. It forces, if it's the quarterback in this situation, it's Rasul Douglas, or if it's a linebacker, to choose kind of between the short underneath route or the deep corner route. So you're going to see Rasul Douglas on this play kind of chooses the short route, and Kirk Cousins actually does the right thing on this play. So we're in Tampa 2. You'll see Trader on the top of your screen here, on the bottom as a safety. He'll rotate over. You'll see Rasul Douglas will pinch down. He's going to take the short. So they're running the smash. On the corner route above him is the right read. It's the right read for Kirk Cousins. He's going to hit it. And you look, this is going to be a catch. This is wide open. This is something the Dolphins have absolutely struggled with. But watch Trader. What is the one thing we talked about Dante Trader, Jason? He's not the fastest, and he's not the fastest guy, but he's a yard or two ahead because he's got the smarts.
He's cerebral. He's the quarterback. He's a quarterback of the secondary, so to speak.
So, yeah. So everybody who's watching, Curtis, this looks like a completion, right?
Kirk
Cousins does everything right. It's a great throw. But look at the closing and instincts from Dante Trader Jr. here.
Bang!
Perfect.
Dante Sarni Trader.
That'll cheer you up, Sarni. So look.
No, I'll tell you. It's a pleasure to see.
Bottom of the screen, the smash concept. Rasul Douglas. Quarterback's reading what Rasul Douglas does. Boom. Takes a short. He's going to go on top of the corner route. And Dolphins would give up this play over and over again all season. And this in a perfect throw, man. What a play by Dante Trader. I mean, this is what you wanted to see out of him. The instincts, Jason. We talked about it, man. All right, bump your chest. Stand on the table for your boy Dante Trader Jr. Because he was highly. It wasn't just this play.
A lot of people were liking the fact that he's a dual sport athlete. A lot of these guys are dual sport athletes, but the fact that he's a lacrosse player, when you're holding a stick, you can't wrap up and tackle. But you can lay the wood with your shoulder pads and hit properly, not head hunt, and do it textbook. Dante Trader can hit in a textbook way, and he has the smarts and that cerebral quality in him. We're going to see a lot more of these plays, and sometimes I just think that we got to steal, and I know that it's been taking a little bit, but this is the type of game where I think it can create momentum for him. And I just have a lot of high hopes for this kid. Everything that I've read and heard about him from his college coaches and from, the ability to play for a top Maryland lacrosse. That's no joke. Like that's no joke of a program.
You saw the short area quickness there. And
that's
he's not
what
the top end speed guy. But again, you have to know, it's like a center fielder. We always go back to baseball. It's like you got to get a good jump on the ball. And he kind of saw it quicker. And it's like Zach. Remember Zach? I always talk about this. Zach would see the play, a yard or two before the other guy. And he looked like he ran a 4.4 because his mind was a guy like, for example, Chad Lindo, who runs a 4.4, but he's like 3 yards back.
Right.
Zach's 3 yards forward. And that makes the difference. It's more than the speed. And that was a big-time play. I mean, big shot. Yeah, go ahead.
In addition to that, you look at and listen, everyone loves looking at combine stuff. Everyone loves looking at 40 time, vertical, all that good stuff. Just watch what he does on the field in play. Don't look at, he ran a 4.52. Oh, his vertical was this. Oh, his shell, his cone is, shut up. Sometimes,
let him know, Jason.
Listen, sometimes it's nice to add.
The eye test. What
the eye test is like, I love this kid. Oh, and he ran a 4.43. The eye test. Oh, and he had a vertical of 40. But other times you look at the numbers and you're like, well, you know what? I'm not going to buy that because of what I saw and what he can do when the pads are on, when the lights are on, or when there's game action. I don't care about the underwear Olympics. I care about what people are doing in pads and a helmet when it really, really counts. This is an exact type of a player that you shouldn't get married to the combine or the pro day numbers. And that's a reason why he fell to a day 3 pick. If he ran a couple of tenths of a second better, you know what I'm saying? If those metrics were a little bit better, he could have been a top 100 pick. I mean, everyone was wanting a safety early. And we saw a lot of names fly off the board. Watts, Bowman, a lot of these guys we would have loved. But I'm very, very content with Dante Trader Jr. right now.
First of all, shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to Vince Tailgate, El Capitan. What's up, everybody? Kosa, everybody, come on over. For some reason, we're only live on YouTube tonight. I don't know what happened to X. Maybe it was my mistake. So come on over to YouTube, support us, hit the like button, join the chat, kind of hit the subscribe. We're breaking everything down with Curtis from Ace Per Head and also on our Saturday Countdown to Game Day show. And I've always the better half of Finn's Faithful, Mr. Jason Sonny.
Please, I don't think I'm the better half of anything. Trust me.
Well, we know that at home. We'll give you on the
show. Hey, you're right. True knocking on that. True knocking. I am not the better half. Trust me.
Curtis, what was your evaluation?
My wife over here with me.
Oh, okay. Don't know. Yeah, she might make it appear. We'll switch her out, Jason.
We'll have to go 4. We'll have to go 4 wide receivers out here with that.
Sammy's calling it sabotage. I don't know what happened, Sammy, but anyways, Curtis, what was your evaluation of Trader after they drafted him? Did you go back and look at him?
No, I really didn't. But when I had an interview with this really smart guy, Jason Sarney, he came on and he sold me on him, dude. I was like, whatever. I want to see the film. I want to see the film. When he's in preseason and come the game. Yeah. And Jason really just sold me on it. And I started getting high because it's really hard to calculate the athletics balance with the cerebral balance.
Yeah, it's really hard.
More often than not, you'll get a really smart guy, but he's just not smart enough to offset those athletics. Yeah. But when you get the guy who's that smart to offset it, then it just becomes magic. Yeah, and so for a lot of times people say, well, he's real smart. I'm like, oh yeah, well, I've gone through so many to the mill. But I think the thing that really got me when he talked about a lacrosse player, there's another famous football player. I don't know if you guys remember, Jim Brown.
Long Island legend.
Oh, here we go.
And so when I heard him speak in an interview after I interviewed Jason is when I said, you know what, I'm going to put my eye on this guy. And then I got really off him quick because of the injuries. He didn't see him a lot. In preseason and training camp. And then he started showing some blips. He had some tough games, but then you'd start to see those bad plays kind of melt away a little bit, and you saw a few good plays. And then this was his best game. And it really, it's like the Jeep that's in the sand and the tires are turning and the sand's just flying. It's going nowhere. And then slowly gains momentum and takes off. Is that where we're at? I don't know. We'll see. So
yeah, it's fun. It's a great point you bring up. It's very difficult when you get the
Let me
guys
give
who go ahead.
one more name out there. Let me give you. No, there's one more name, and then I'll get off the lacrosse. Great point with Jim Brown.
I love when you do
reference.
this. I love
Jim
when you
Brown
start
would
doing
usually
this.
just put the lacrosse stick. Jim Brown changed the game and had to make a rule of cradling, if you don't know, because Jim Brown would put the lacrosse stick and the ball to his chest and just become a running back. And they're like, no, we got to change this up. True story. But another player that all Dolphin fans should know who played lacrosse, who wasn't the tallest, wasn't the fastest, wasn't the biggest or the strongest or whatever, but he was always open like 7-Eleven, was Chris Hogan. Undrafted. The Dolphins get rid of him. The Dolphins get rid of him after coming into camp. But you know who was able to utilize him? The New England Patriots.
And then he went to Buffalo, didn't he?
Well, he went to Buffalo first, but then the New England Patriots really utilized him. And Chris Hogan he led the league in yards per catch one year at like 18 yards per catch. I'm not even kidding. Yeah, so this is a sport, much like if you're looking for a sport that you want in a defensive lineman, it's wrestling with Jordan Phillips. Well, for safeties, for wide receivers, if you're not the most athletic or fastest, but if you need to get the job done, lacrosse. I did not play lacrosse, trust me, but my high school was a very good Long Island lacrosse program, and that's one of the meccas of lacrosse, and I loved watching my friends play. And it's a sport that I wish I knew how to play, but I appreciate that of any sport that I've never I can't cradle to save my life, but I appreciate the sport very much.
Yeah, I know. Lacrosse it's the short area quickness too that he has. I mean, I'm a big fan. Somebody asked him permanent starter now. I don't know why he was, because he had that missed tackle versus the Chargers, right? And then he got but you got to let these guys.
It was a bad missed tackle. I'm not going to lie.
It was bad.
Bad missed tackle.
You got to let him play through it. You got to let him. I think they got to let him play. All right. So let's kind of that was our video. I hope you guys enjoyed all the videos and stuff. I wanted to show you guys some of the things we thought were better. Let's talk about the Ravens game. Let's flip it here now. Ravens last 2 weeks defense been hitting the stride, man. They've kind of had. I think they gave up 16 and 17 points their last 2 weeks. They got Roquan Smith back on the defense. You know what's really changed, Curtis and Jason? The safety addition of Gilman since about week 6. And it's kind of allowed Kyle Hamilton to kind of play a little more freely in the box like a linebacker. Yeah. So the defense,
that's where they love him.
Yeah, they love him there. And they couldn't do that. They have Malachi Starks, a good young player who I like, but he's young. And Gilman, since he's come in there, and he's really made a difference for them.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
Really made a difference. I've noticed that a lot with them. Offensively here, you look at that Ravens defense, man, they're not, that's been their issue. Points, and again, be careful when we read these numbers because it's been trending the other way a little bit the last 2 weeks. I'm going to read you their opponent, their 30th in allowing opponents points per game with 30 points a game. 28, they allow 379 yards, almost 400 yards of offense and 30 points a game. Third down conversion, they're giving opponents 44% of the time. They're 28. Yards per play, they're 25th. Red zone scoring, which we're going to talk about. Dolphins are actually pretty good in red zone. They're 26th. They give up 3.4 touchdowns a game. They're 29th. We'll start with you, Curtis. The defense seems to be trending that way. How do you attack this defense? Is it almost the same game plan? I think they're weak on the defensive, the interior. They run that 3-4. They run a lot of. They mix it up. They play a lot cover one, but they mix their coverage schemes. They use a high percentage.
Well, that's where Weaver comes from. He's a lot of Weavers coming from them.
The percentage is almost the same. They use a high percentage of man. They use 38% man, almost 39%. But generally, I would say they're a zone coverage team. I think they'll probably go zone. Your thoughts on how you attack this defense and your thoughts on their defense and how maybe what game plan you would install.
Well, first off, you got to remember, Lamar's been out since halfway through week 4. Their time of possession is 27th. This defense has been beat up. They're tired. You got to keep that into it. Just like you saw our crappy defense all of a sudden look like all world when they were on the field 22 minutes and you had, an offense. This defense has been really reeling with the loss of Lamar, and they're going to get him back. Also, they were averaging only 25 touches, rushing attempts a game. Last 3, they're up to 30, almost 31 touches. And, I keep saying it over and over again. I did stats, and I've been doing it for 2 years now. And this year so far, 90% of the teams in the top 10 rush attempts don't have a losing record. 90% of the teams in the bottom 10%, or 80% 80% have a losing record, and one's a tie. So it's almost like your 10% chance to have a losing record if you got the top 10 rushing attempts, and it's 20%, 10% a tie, or 10% a loss. Rushing attempts mean everything. These defenses need to stay fresh. So if you look at Atlanta, there's a lot of similarities. Ellis and Smith. Smith's better. But then you contrast it. If you watched, we were victimizing Bertrand last week. He didn't know what the heck he was doing. It was just like special delivery. Here we go, Bertrand. Give us what you want. And they got Buchanan. He's a little bit better, but he's still a weak spot. Now, they've got a pretty good secondary. What's the guy's name? Let me check. Humphreys, who's been very good, struggled this year. I think he's coming off injury. They got Hamilton, Wiggins, Gilman, you mentioned, Starks, and Smith. They struggle on that front, and just like Atlanta in some ways, but they're bigger. And so a lot of stuff that we had last week, we had heavy traction on that turf against a small defensive front. This week, we're going to be on grass, and you could see at home sometimes we're slipping. It's a little slippery. It doesn't have the same traction. And now we're going against guys that are bigger. Jones is 340. Urban's not too big. They got another guy that's kind of big in the background. They got Van Noy, who could kind of still make plays. They got Green, who's a rookie, kind of take advantage. But there's a lot of similarities, but this secondary is better, and they are bigger. And the setting isn't as conducive, especially on a short week. So they have holes. You're going to have to attack inside. I think it's going to – I don't want to run on too long, but last week, if you watch Galen 2020, they had no talent on offensive line, no talent at running back, very little talent anywhere, but he averaged 16th most attempts, and he had the intestinal fortitude and wisdom of an elite OC to stick with it. Will McDaniel get skittish and start running outside and throwing the football, or will he have the intestinal fortitude to keep hitting it inside with balance? Now, Lamar putting points on could test that a lot too. So is a lot of stuff going into this, but just on the face of it, they do have areas we can attack. If you watched last week, they did struggle a little bit with the speed running back. Of course, you also had the mobile quarterback that they don't have to face with Tua, but there is elements. But I think it's going to demand McDaniel to be better than last week, have the wisdom and intestinal fortitude to keep at it even when it's not pretty early. Now, if we get behind, I can understand. But if it's like we've seen in the past where it's a kind of a close game and he's getting all skittish and running outside throwing a football, we're doomed because Lamar's a big piece of the puzzle and his defense is going to be highly tested. I'm going on, but that's it.
Yeah, that's my light goes out here on the side. Jason, shout out to everybody.
Hey, you notice my internet's staying.
Yeah, shout out to everybody.
It's like no, don't mention it. It's like a no hitter. You don't want to talk to the pitcher.
Shout out to 305 Sports Day. Her and her husband Lou are unbelievable. All the great stuff. Make sure you check them out. Frankie's in the house. Yes. What a great guy, Frankie. Frankie was a little too far for me. And we finally got the X situation figured out. I could have done it a lot earlier. But shout out to Sammy. Thank you for sending me that info. But make sure you guys come on YouTube, hit the thumbs up. If you watch the replay of the videos we showed you, if you missed it, with the videos with some of the offensive wrinkles they put in with Achane and Gordon, Tua, things Tua did well, and of course, the defense, the young players, Dante Trader Jr. with an unbelievable play. We'll break it down really what made that play because a lot of the times that's a completion. So make sure you guys check that out. We appreciate it. Yo, Adrian. Shout out Adrian's in the chat. Ravens fans are brutal. I have them up there with Eagles fans. They will show up mañana. Yeah, we know. All right. Jason, your thoughts on how do you attack this Ravens defense? Do you want to see a lot of the same? Heavy run. And we'll get into our over-under game. Don't worry. I know Jason.
I love it. I'm so good at it.
How do you attack? Do you want to see a lot of the same stuff? A lot of the extra offensive linemen.
Yes. I mean, when something works, do it until it doesn't. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So do this right now. This is not the stout Ravens defense that we or the NFL has been used to the last several years. And I think, that when you go strictly to the pass, they're giving up a lot of passing yards. Remember, they've only played 7 games, and they're in the bottom 10 of yards allowed through the air. And in the bottom 10, only 2 of those teams have played just 7 games as opposed to 8. And they're not sacking the quarterback. They're not creating turnovers. So
Great point.
you run the ball. And even if you're down, I don't care if you're down 10-0.
Yeah.
You run the ball and you make it 10-7. And then you don't deviate from trying to win the time of possession and setting up the play action pass. I really think that that's what they need to do. You need to mix in Jalen Wright, Ollie Gordon to complement Achane. I think if they can collectively get 25 to 30 carries, that's a formula for a win. And then when Tua is, I don't want to use the word forced because, again, you want to mix up the pass equally with the run almost like they did last on Sunday. But I think he could exploit this Ravens defense. They're giving up 10 touchdowns, which is tied for like 7 other teams, which the most touchdowns through the air. And again, they've only played 7 games. So this defense is susceptible to big yardage, to scoring plays. I'm a little worried about what, when Lamar clicks, the Dolphins are going to need to score points. This is not going to be a 10 to 13 game. I mean, this might be a game in the high 20s or the 30s, but I think that if the Ravens are going to put up 28 plus points, I think the Dolphins can come as close to matching that. And I think we're talking about a field goal game. So cover. Make sure you take the Dolphins to cover. But
don't spoil your prediction.
I'm holding it in. But I think that we could see some fireworks and some heavy scoring.
I think I'm going to give you a little spoiler of my bold prediction. I have a feeling this is a game NWI gets a little more action than he has. They're getting a little.
I thought that was last week. I was wrong on that.
I'll get it right this time, Jason.
There you go.
I think big thing. I actually like them taking the ball first. You know what I mean? I like them starting. They play so much, doing so much better with the lead. I mean, most quarterbacks are, but because it forces Mike to continue running the football. You know what I mean? Because the question for me is, when we're down 10-3, let's say, or 13-3, does he stop that? Does he get afraid? You know how he panics, Curtis, we talk about. He kind of gets away from that run. That's the key. You got to continue when you're down 13-3. It's a 4-quarter game. You know what I mean? And especially depends how the defense plays. But I think for them offensively, I think NWI a little more. I think set up the play action with the run again and the red zone. Dolphins offense, as we mentioned, 11th in the league in red zone percentage at 65%, and the Ravens defense is they give up 66%. They're 26 in the league. So when you get down there, you got to convert in there. And I think run, set up, but more importantly, run with different variations. Achane and Gordon in the backfield, and keep the play action. That's where Tua's strength is. You got to keep that going. All right, moving on to the defensive side of the ball. Dolphins, I think this is the first game, guys, if I'm correct, that the whole crew's together for them. Lamar, the receivers, Bateman and Hopkins, and fullback Ricard, and
Zay Flowers.
With Zay Flowers and Henry. I think this is the first where the band's together, right? You look at their offensive rankings, they're 13th in the league in points, 24.9, almost 25 points a game. 21 in yards a game, 315. So 12th in touchdowns scored. So, look, Lamar's been out 3 games. But I think, obviously, and you mentioned, Curtis, they upticked the running game the last few games with Henry. I think they're going to try to give Henry over 20 carries.
Gotcha.
Lamar, and to me, watch out for the tight end Andrews. Teams attack us, and I think Jackson to Andrews is going to be big in this game. I'll start with you, Jason. What's your game plan defensively here? What are you worried about with the Ravens?
I'm worried about a lot. I'm not going to lie. That's why I referenced it. No, listen, I'm not knocking the Dolphins' defense as much as I'm just saying a complete Ravens offense could be very dangerous because of the components that the Dolphins have struggled against. You mentioned Andrews, and he was not very good the last 3 games without Lamar Jackson. Not a world beater in the first couple of games with him, but he's substantially better with Lamar Jackson. And the Dolphins have given up 50 catches to tight ends this year, which is tied for 3rd most in the league. Look what Kyle Pitts did, was 9 of 9 in targets. Look what Oronde Gadsden did, 7 catches. So they're going to probably get volume from Mark Andrews. Zay Flowers, too, is another person that I'm really worried about. Even despite playing without Lamar Jackson, he's had the last 3 games. He's having, I want to use this loosely, I'm not saying he's having a career year, but he has career highs in catches per game, yards per game, and catch percentage. And
I have him on one of my fantasy. I have one of my fantasy teams.
He's doing well. Who has not looked exactly like himself has been Derrick Henry, but that could change on a dime because we're talking about Derrick Henry. I mean, he's not averaging as much yards per game as he's used to. It's substantially lower, but this is a guy who could hurt you 5 yards in and anywhere else on the field, but he could score touchdowns, of course, So I'm worried about the rushing component of Lamar Jackson. And even with him coming off a hamstring injury, I don't think that matters as much as there could be a little rust with the throwing from missing the games. He's always going to be able to utilize his legs. I mean, he's averaging like 40 some odd yards a game on the ground this year, but career-wise, he's up to like 50, he averages like 59, So if it's 3rd and medium, 3rd and manageable, and the Dolphins have everything covered, and you're letting Lamar pick up the first down with his legs, like we saw what happened with the Josh Allen, like a Derek May. Scrambling quarterbacks, dual threat quarterbacks have always been a rub to this defense going back years. So I'm worried about that. I'm worried about Andrews. I'm worried about Flowers. I'm worried about Henry. But
you're worried about everything.
I'm always worried. I'm a paranoid guy. What can I tell you? I'm always worried. But this is not going to be listen, I'd be shocked if it's a domination on what they did to the Falcons. But then again, you're not going backup quarterback. You're getting quarterback back in. Like you said, the whole band is together right now for their offense. So, I as the defense, they're going to need to come up and to steal a line. I know we got the dive bar in there. Bend, don't break. How about that? Bend, don't break.
Yeah, we're talking about, before I get to you, Curtis, we'll talk about it, the defense. We match up with, we look at red zone percentages here. Their red zone scoring is pretty bad. Our red zone defense is actually pretty good. We're in the tops in the league on red zone defense. So on both sides, this is a bend but don't break. I couldn't agree more. Curtis, how do you attack this Baltimore offense?
Very carefully, because you like the blitz, and then you're going to leave holes for him to squirt out. And he knows, look, the whole Ravens team, especially Lamar, knows that they got to win this game. And so they're going to give everything they got. And if he's a little rusty with the arm, he's been off for a couple of weeks. He's going to use those legs. So how does Weaver generate the pressure? Even little pieces like, little pieces. That's the exact opposite. Ricard. They've got a big offensive line, Ricard. They're going to be able to slam it with their big running back. They got Andrews, and you got me, George, realizing Likely's back as well.
Yeah.
Bateman can make the big play. You got Hopkins. You got the speedy Flowers, and then you have Lamar. It's going to be extraordinarily difficult. We all want to go. We were just laughing at this defense a couple of weeks ago, or a week ago, and then also so this is probably one of its biggest tests. You have to constantly be. Remember, you can't even get after Lamar. You got to control your rush lanes. You got to slow down your pursuit. If you get in it too quick, and he'll just run around like this, and they can't cover for long periods of time. I think you're going to have to dial off on some of this some of this blitzing. You're going to have to, I think it was Jason, bend but don't break. You're going to have to rely on this offense. This offense is going to have to come through because I see like maybe a drive or two where Lamar's rusty, but after that, about second, maybe probably third drive, they're going to start clicking. And so it's going to be very critical that we work simpatico, offense and defense, and move this game forward, because you don't want to really get in a shoot. Do you really want a Lamar to have a shootout with Tua? And I don't mean just from the arm standpoint, from the leg standpoint. If you're having a shootout, both these defenses are out there. If this defense gets tired, and Lamar's just going to be running like a madman. So we've got to do a lot of what we saw to bail out this defense. We can't get too pulled up into that. It's Kirk Cousins with no receivers. He had no receivers. He had Pitts. That's it. So it's going to be, if we win this one, dude, I don't know what the hell I'm going to think about the season, because it's like almost like a rewrite, but it's going to be tough. It's going to take another kind of perfect game. No stupid penalties, no McDaniel getting antsy and getting guys out late and things. It's going to have to be a perfect game. So this defense is going to have to play bend but don't break, dial it back, and be careful, because remember we're Mr. Run. We were 32nd in run defense. Let's not fall asleep, as you said on. They got three good backs over there with Henry and Lamar. So
Jason mentioned it. This is looking like a repeat of 21.
Listen, it is.
If it happens, Jason, I'm just gonna.
I'm gonna rattle off. I'm gonna rattle it off. I said it on Finn's TV and Sammy's show last night. But for those who didn't hear it, there are so many ridiculous comparables to 2021 from a scheduling standpoint and record and everything. I'll do it real quick. 1-7 to start off 2021, 1-6 to start off 2025. They took a beat down, and they gave a beat down knowing that they had 2 games in 5 days in 2021 to the Texans, which is a South team. Gave a beat down to the Falcons a couple days ago, which is a South team. Thursday Night Football in 2021 against the Ravens. Thursday Night Football this year against the Ravens. Following these Thursday night games in both seasons, 2021 was an AFC East opponent. 2021 against the Jets. This year, the next game after the Ravens, AFC East opponent in Buffalo. And then going into the bye in 2021, they faced an NFC East opponent in the Giants. Going into the bye this year, they faced an NFC East opponent in the Commanders. Gets a little crazier. After the bye from 2021, they faced the Jets and the Saints. After the bye this year, they faced the Saints and the Jets. And they ended in 2021 with the Patriots. They're ending in 2025 with the Patriots. Now, I know what everyone's saying. Well, 2021 didn't necessarily end up well. I'm with you. But I just love these things and how sometimes they play out. But if the Dolphins can rattle off a win, if they can get a win, they might be able to create some momentum where what we're seeing from 2021, you lose 7 in a row, you win 7 in a row, and they're playing for a playoff potential week 15, 16, 17. You know what I mean? We might, small chance, be able to turn this thing around if they beat the Ravens, knowing that there's a couple of cream puff games coming up after the gauntlet. But if they beat the Ravens, they could have momentum against Buffalo at home.
I don't even know how to address it. I don't even know how to address it. That happens. How do you even address that, Jason? But you're right, man.
Crazier things have happened, and just look at 2021. Because if they didn't have one of the worst games you ever witnessed in 2021 was that game against Tennessee. And I know that there's been other bad games against Tennessee. I get that. But that 2021 awfulness was one of the worst performances. And I think everyone knew Flores, the relationship was over for some whatever. But you never know. If they beat the Ravens, I'm going to give a big stinking you never know.
You never. I think if they beat the Ravens, like Curtis says, I don't know what to think anymore. Shout out to Gloria. Hey, shout out to Gloria, and also has a toy drive.
Yes.
Gloria, tell them in the chat where they can kind of find
Eastgate 12.
Eastgate 12, and kind of if there's somewhere they can kind of donate or whatever, because Gloria has a great cause, wonderful cause that she does with some other people with the toy drive. So we appreciate that. I had
Bring a toy, drop it off.
Toys, or I think you can even just Zelle or Venmo them. If you don't want to go buy it, send them the money. They'll go take care of it, because there's nothing. Give these Christmas kids without toys or a present on Christmas is one of the saddest things. And let's help some of these kids who are not as fortunate as maybe we were, or some of the kids that are as fortunate. So I had to eat my words from the last show. They shocked me against it. You're not the only one, Gloria. Everybody here. All right, give me some key matchups you like. Like, what's going to be the key individually? Is it? I got a few. I think just the defensive line versus Derrick Henry, not the offensive line, tackling him. The linebackers versus our tight ends, the safeties and linebackers versus the tight ends. Do you guys like any other matchups? Whether it's Kyle Hamilton, versus Tua, or Achane versus Raekwon Smith. I mean, anything that stand out? We'll start with you, Kurt.
Well, remember, Roquan had that bait on Tua the last time for the pick. Got to watch out for him.
Yes, she put it in East 12, row 209. Look for the deep end Troy dive sign. Yeah, Troy drive sign. Yes, please, guys. Curtis, give me an individual matchup you like that you're worried about or you like for the Dolphins.
For me, the biggest ones would be Tua versus Hamilton and Roquan.
Right, Jason.
I'm gonna bring it all back.
Here we go. Sardi, wait. I was going to say this. Sardi's best when he's like excited. I'm exhausted. I gotta go. And Sardi's the best. He gets in his bag when the lights come on, man.
I appreciate that. But I'm going to bring it back to the safety position. You're looking at a scrambling quarterback. You're looking at a big, strong tight end over the middle on that second level. Dante, Trader, Jr., Minka Fitzpatrick. These guys are going to be huge. All right, because if Lamar is busting out an 8-9 yard run and it's 3rd and 12, someone's going to have to stop him short of the sticks. If Mark Andrews gets his hands on a ball and a guy like a Trader can knock it out of the hands, Fitzpatrick do the same. I'm looking at that second intermediate level in the middle of the field. If the safeties could beat those skill position players and hold Lamar to medium yardage instead of a big 25, 30-yard gain, that's what I'm looking to see.
Tony, give me that Trader Jr. an Italian accent.
Trader Jr.
Curtis, you got a Trader Jr. one. Give me one.
It's a New York accent.
Trader Sonny Jr.
Dante Trader Jr.
All right, you guys ready for our over-under game? All right.
Yeah. I'm ready. Doesn't mean I'm going to do well.
Tua passing yards, 216.5. The under has hit 6 out of the 8 this season at that line. Sarni, you going over or under?
I'm going over substantially because listen, I want the balance. I want the run game, but I'm sticking to it. This is good. Yards are going to have to accumulate. Points are going to have to accumulate. And it wouldn't shock me if, the Dolphins are down in the second half moderately. Tua's going to have to put on some yardage, and I think he's going to. I like 250, 275 with these.
Curtis.
Yeah, I'm going to go under.
I'm going over. I'm going over.
You might be right, but I just
be different. You got to be different. You're the ones got to go.
Well, look, I just have a feeling they're going to throw a lot of mixed zones.
Yeah.
Tua's had a great go against teams that play heavy man and blitz. It's just very clear for him. I think they're going to do a lot of dropping, masked coverages. It's not going to be as clear reads. It's probably not going to be as much of a front running game. So, because he had 200 this game, right?
Yeah, I do like. But if they play heavy zone, I think they are going to play heavy zone. I like Achane a lot in that. So when we get to Achane's numbers, but all right. So Curtis is under. Me and Jason are over 1.5 touchdowns. The over has hit 5 out of the 8 times this season at that line. I'm going over. Sorry.
This is for Tua passing touchdowns?
Yeah.
Sticking with the same point. Yeah, 2+.
Yeah, I'm going over too. I think he's going to get a lot. If McDaniel's smart, he'll get a lot of, those short TDs, red zone throws.
Oh. All right. 32.5 pass attempts. The under has hit 6 out of the 8 this season at that line. I think he gets like 33, 34. I'm going to go slightly over. Curtis.
What was that? I didn't hear what you said. What?
32.5 pass attempts.
God, I hope not. Better be under.
Jason?
Now, I know it might sound like it's a deviation here, but I'm going to say under because I like the big play potential, heavy yardage. So we might not be getting correct. So like 26 pass attempts, complete 21 passes, but 260 yards. I could see that because I want the run balance to the pass. But I think that, look, you hit Waddle, he can get yards after the catch. You swing it out to Achane, yards after the catch. So Malik Washington, vertically, yards after the catch. Not from behind the line of scrimmage. Vertically use Malik Washington. Did I say Malik Williams? Sorry, Malik Washington. But I think he could heavy yardage just under the pass attempts.
And Chad, you can come along, I like your opinion. Chad, if you go over under, we'd love to hear your opinion in it. All right. So let's move to Achane. 56.5 yards rushing. The over has hit 5 out of the 8 this season at that line. I'm going over. I think Achane gets at least 70 yards in this game. Jason.
My advice is to always, if you're going to bet on anything Achane, just use the rushing plus the reception yardage.
You always say that. You do always say that.
I always say that because, he could have 7 catches for 70 yards and 40 rushing attempts, but he's 100 yards, 100 scrimmage yards, and everyone's loving it. Gun to head, I think it's going to be so close to that figure. I'll go over because his ability to break 1 or 2. So I'll go over, but I think he's going to need to utilize him in the receiving game and get Gordon and Wright those inside runs for ground yardage for those two. But I'll go over 60 yards rushing.
Well, when I watched them last week, the Ravens, they struggle against a speedy back and some nifty moves and cutbacks against the Bears. So I'm saying over.
Yeah, I like Achane versus his defense a lot. All
right. I don't like Ollie as much, but I think he's needed just a bang, bang, bang. But I think they're going to struggle with Achane a little bit more.
All right, 12.5 attempts. Achane, over or under, Jason? Good number. I'm going to go over.
I'm going to go over. 13, 14.
I agree.
Yeah.
Curtis?
Well, what was that? I didn't hear what you said. You were breaking up.
12.5 rushing attempts.
For Achane?
It's been the over has hit 4 out of 8 at that line this season at 12.5. So it's 50-50. Yeah, for Achane.
Yeah, I think McDaniel's like, oh my God, I almost might be back in good graces. I'm going to feed this guy until he's dead. Over.
Sammy, I don't know. We're waiting for Gloria, but give her time, but she's ready. All right, so 5.5 receptions. The under has hit 5 out of the 8 this season at that line. I'm gonna go under. I think he gets about 5.
This is for Achane?
Yeah.
I'm gonna want to go over on this one. 6, 7.
Curtis,
when that happens, good things happen.
Curtis, receptions for Achane. 5.5 over under.
I think they're going to feed him until he's dead. They're going to give him everything. Over, man. They're just going to feed this guy. Look what he did last week. They're going to feed him.
I'm going to go under because I think it's about 5, but I'm regretting my decision already.
Hell do I know? You're probably best if whatever I say, you take the opposite.
32.5 yards receiving for Achane. The under, surprisingly, is hit 7 out of the 8 this season at that line. I'm going to go over on that, though. I think he gets about 5 for like 40. Jason?
It's really hard to take anything under for Achane, so I'm going to go over knowing how.
Surprise that number, Jason. No, 7 out of the 8 has not hit it.
It is. I was shocked.
When I say good things happen, he does good things. But to tell you the truth, if I remember correctly, when he gets the games where he has like 8, 7, 6 receptions, Dolphins kind of lose most of those games. So,
it's true, Jason.
When you really think about it, so I would like him to be utilized properly. But I do think that he's a player that you got to be kind of crazy to go under anything with him.
Yeah, I'm gonna go under on it. I'm gonna go over on it. Not a ton, but I like that number. Ollie Gordon, 18.5 yards rushing. The unders hit 6 out of 8. I always get worried when I say this is a gimme for Gordon, but I'm gonna go over. I hope so, Jason.
I hope he goes over, but the problem with this one is, and I'd have no problem with this problem. From a betting standpoint, it could suck, but if he has 7 carries for 15 yards and he's picking up 4 first downs, I'm okay.
Yeah,
Like
that's
if these
true.
runs
Good
are on,
point.
so I'm a betting guy, I'm a fantasy guy, but at the same time, I have to be a real football fan.
George.
He's one
We'll
of
talk
those
later,
guys,
Sam.
he's one of those guys that you need to be a better football teammate than a fantasy or a gambling profit guy, you know? So all I care about with Ollie Gordon is moving the chains and maybe getting a short yardage touchdown. But
Yeah, maybe it's like
I
5
like
carries.
Ollie Gordon. Yeah, he could have a Jerome
Cover
Bettis.
one or goal line situation. So, true, it's a good point. I'm going to go over. I think he gets 20 yards. Curtis,
It's such a gimme. It looks so good.
But Jason, I've done that all season. And he,
I think
he does well last week.
I think Jason's got a great point, but I'm going to say over.
Because
I'm taking the over.
Jason's on fire today.
But I wouldn't care if they win the game. I lose a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
All right. The last one's Waddle, 63.5 over. That's it 4 out of 8 this season at that line. 63.5. I think Waddle can get 70. I'm going to go over. Jason?
I'm going with the yardage again. Yep. I'm going with the over.
Curtis?
I'm going under.
Okay. Why? What do you like the under on that? You think you're going to feed Achane more?
I think that the Ravens are not stupid like the DC, the former Jets DC. They're just going to blitz all the time. They've got better skill talent. And I just think that they're going to focus on taking away and say, hey, let's go elsewhere. And they got big enough guys, and they can master blitz enough to kind of handle the run. I just think that he's going to get contained a little bit more. I mean, he's like Achane, one play that could blow that thing out the door. But I think it's going to be a little more difficult than this week.
Yeah, Sammy, Jason, your hair does look good, Jason. I like the little size.
Any hair looks good. What are you kidding me?
Jason sits
I
here. I haven't eaten anything, and he's just like doing one of his. He looks great. He's doing one of his better. He's in his bag. You know, Jason, this is the flu game for you.
Did I Venmo you guys some money that I don't know? You guys are doing too well tonight.
Curtis also.
Oh yeah, it's flowing rocks.
So what are we doing? I'm over. Jason's over on the yards, and you're under. All right, 4.5 receptions. Last one. It's hit for Waddle. It's hit 5 out of 8 this season. I'm gonna go 4.5. I think he gets 5 or 6. I'll go over. Jason.
Yeah, I go over too. I think it's gonna be a lot of short screen stuff.
Over. I mean, look, Waddle's best game of his career was against the Ravens, 171 yards, 2 touchdowns, 11 catches. So,
yeah,
you never know.
I'm going to go over. All right, let's get to the final four. Let's get our bold prediction for the game, then our final score to wrap it up. Bold prediction. You want me to go first, fellas? I'll go first. I think NWI gets over 50 yards receiving in this game. Jason, I hate when Jason does that reaction because it makes me feel like I did too much.
No, that's bold. That's bold.
Guys, like I said, this is not the thing. I like to go bold. You know, would I bet my money on it? Absolutely not. But if you're asking me, bold prediction, I'm going to go. He gets. I think it's trending up. He's getting a lot of snaps. He's playing on the outside. I mean, the only thing is, I think Cedric Wilson can get some of those snaps, but I think it's trending. He's more comfortable. Sammy says, no way. I hope it hits. I hope it hits on the post-game. All right. Give me your bold prediction. Who wants to go first?
Curtis, you go first.
Jalen Wright's going to get 4 carries. Bold.
He's real bold. Jason Sarney.
Wait, no. 3 carries. 3 carries. Very bold.
I'm going to stick with the theme of the day or the night. Dante Trader Jr. is going to get a money play. What I mean by that, sack, pick, forced fumble recovery.
So he's going to be involved in the turnover. You know,
he's going to cook something up.
I hope you're right about that. All right. Final score predictions. Jason Sarney. Do the Dolphins keep the momentum? Like we said in our title, can they keep it going?
I think they're going to have every chance to keep it going. And I think it's going to come down to who has the ball last. And I do think it's going to be a game. So take the Dolphins to cover, but gun to head, I think the Ravens, if I had to pick a winner, I have them at 128, but I hope I'm wrong.
Something happened with my screen. I don't know what. This has been a weird broadcast. Now I'm like, my screen went the other way. I'm this way. Whatever. Curtis.
I just don't think that we're gonna. I think a lot of the stuff we saw leading up to this is gonna get exposed. I think it's gonna be 20-27. I think it'll be like a fourth quarter thing where maybe we put on the 3, we go from 17-20, and they put on the 7 and kind of put us away at the end. So.
Sammy, I don't know what's going on with this episode, man.
I like Sammy's prediction that Al Michaels falls asleep by the third quarter. I think that's pretty solid.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna go. I think we continue the momentum. I think we stop the run. I'm not as afraid as the Ravens' weapons. Like as long as we stop the tight end. Tua is 2-1 versus Lamar Jackson. He goes to 3-1, 24-20. That's a bold prediction. And then we're talking about Jason's theory of the repeat of 2021 in this episode. No predictions for Spirit Fingers, Gloria. No predictions for me at this time. Let's see if they shock me again. I hope you're right. But guess what? No matter what happens, fellas, we'll be live after the game, late at night. Hopefully Sarni is still awake and going. Curtis, are you joining us?
I will try. Depends if I got the extra Geritol in me or not, because I got to record. But I'm going to try.
And so you're saying the win versus the Falcons was just a we'll find out. We'll find out closer. So yeah,
different matchup, totally different matchup.
So we'll be live right after the game. You never know who shows up. Frank the Tank, he's been on every post game. He might be there. Hopefully, we get a positive Frank. You never know who's going to show up to join us right after the game live tomorrow. There's no other, and I mean this, no other post game show you could be on but this one. I appreciate everybody in the chat. Sammy, 27-17 Dolphins. Ravens. Excuse me. Sammy's not feeling the momentum. He said the ride is the wave is ending here. It's no more riding the wave. He said I'll join from bed. Sammy, I'm counting you on that. I want to see you in bed live on our post-game show.
Keep the camera off.
Yeah, keep it up. Keep it up. But we appreciate everybody for joining us this late at night. And stay tuned. We're live right after the game, post-game. Come with us. For Curtis, for Jason Sarni, for myself, guys, make sure you drop the like, subscribe. We are out. Have a good night. Stay safe. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks,
after
everybody.
the game. Hopefully,
Thank you all.
Hopefully for a Dolphins victory. Fins up, everybody.
Thanks, guys. You were great.